What's up, ladies and gents, and welcome back to Forza Horizon 5. We are here with the seasonal championship Sky's the Limit, and we need to pick a C600 car of one of the entry cars of the different countries that we have for the championships in this World Cup season thing. Those are the cars we can choose from, and I very much prefer the GT86. And since it's a road racing event, it's also, in my opinion, the best choice. Although you can make an argument for the others. I'm just not a very big fan of using the Lambo LMO2 because, well, that's more of an off-road car, but you can use that as well, and to good results. Now the track, the first one, the Volcano Sprint, is one where the AI can normally hold its own, I would say, but that doesn't mean you can't win it. It's just the AI is historically very bad at the fast corners, and this one has a lot of more slow corners and corners where the AI can hold its own a lot better. We took a little bit of a risk there and darted inside, and that already got us to third. And basically, when you give this a 600 tune and an all-wheel drive tune, you get a pretty good acceleration out of the corners, of which you have many. And on top of that, you have very low weight with this car, so it's kind of made for this. And we're already in first. So I would certainly recommend this car, especially with a decent C600 rating tune. Obviously you won't get very much power out of the tune because the car is already relatively close to the required rating, but it's not too big of a deal. And now it's pretty much about getting through the corners relatively cleanly, and then you really shouldn't have too big of an issue anywhere. So the race obviously pretty much just going straight to the next corner and then taking this 180 degree turn, and then driving back the other side. Now obviously that's not the exact track layout, but generally speaking not a whole lot of corners here where you would say, okay, you have these typical fast corners where the AI just struggles going through at a fast speed and you can just breeze by. But instead you need to make more use of late braking, darting into the corners and cutting off their racing lines, etc. to get ahead. Although you do have some corners like these where you can just hold it through and the AI won't be particularly great here. So if you didn't manage to get ahead early, a section from, let's say, 60% onward, especially here, you can close the gap through these corners, and then in the coming corners, like those right here, you can normally catch the AI as well. They go pretty wide for these corners, and then you can just dart into one of them and get them out of the way and overtake. And then you have this kind of as a last ditch effort, kind of dart in here and maybe get ahead. up to 93%, and in this section you won't really be able to overtake much. From personal experience, when you're not ahead there, it's very hard to get ahead here. But you really have enough options beforehand, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Unlike C-Class, races just take forever. Alright, that was race 1. Let's move on to race 2. Where is another one? Yeah, bank the credits, come on. There we go. Not switching car, there's no reason to do that. Obviously we have a very light and nimble car, so going through a city circuit not going to be a problem, or a city sprint in this case. The two obviously not to be confused. Once again, we will try to use the first half of the race to get the lead, so we are not in a rush later on. And there are obviously a few corners where you can dart in and pull your overtakes on them. So obviously right at the very start you're going to just try to defend your position so that you don't need to re-overtake these guys. But from this corner on you can already make up a lot of ground, and the problem is that there is not a lot of space, so it's not very easy to force your car in. And we are moving up to another overtake. Oh, he's taking the inside line here. We're just moving past, so that's not too big of a deal. And now we only have one guy left. So it's a pretty comfortable situation. We're drifting through there. It was adventurous. And now I am going to dart into the inside. And normally this corner is a very safe overtake, because you can just cut their line off and get a pretty good acceleration down the hill. Whee! Corner going well. So a lot of very tight corners where you can just start in and do the overtake. Really quite a few spots in the first half of the race, and then here in the second half you can just somewhat comfortably carry it home. Although there are a few good overtake spots here as well. Not necessarily right here, it's not a great area for it. So you really want to have the lead at that point already, or you just try to get close, and then a good overtake area is into that corner, like you pull close here and then you try to dart into this one. And then you obviously have a good acceleration down the hill again, even if you compromised your line. So. Or you get closer and then you have this fast mini sprint down the hill. You get close and then you have this tight corner here where you can try to dart in. But that's really the spot where you should take the lead, because there isn't very much left afterwards. The last 10% aren't really an area where you can overtake much, because the AI will mostly full throttle through it, so it's kind of risky. But not much of a problem for us, luckily, so not something we need to worry about. Hey, a wheel spin. Okay. So let's fast travel to the last race up here. One of the easiest tracks in the race. Unfortunately, the AI is pretty good at it as well, so not one of the easiest to win, but one of the easiest to drive. But some corners in there are kind of made for overtaking them, so I am sure we'll manage. But once again, another one where high speed doesn't really matter, or where top speed doesn't really matter. So it's all about accelerating, getting for corners well. And with our car that we have, that's pretty good. Alright, there we go. Obviously with 2 wins we don't necessarily need to win this one, but I wouldn't like not winning it. Alright, so no threat to be overtaken right there. We take the outside line here because, well, we didn't really get to the inside. Wouldn't want to be outside of this fatty. Gets pulled out of the corner a little bit with his rather weighty car. And you don't actually need to brake into this one, you can go full throttle, and that is one spot where you can get close to the AI and then you can overtake into these corners. So that's generally a good thing, right? And then you obviously just need to make sure you stay stable through these corners. And you have a very tight corner here where you can push your car into it. And now we use our superior acceleration getting out of here. Actually, we don't. Never mind. But we can prepare a move. And prepare a move we will. Position the car on the inside, that puts us into third without compromising our line too much. And now we got a very good entry, a very wide entry. A very wide entry here as well. And now we will push our car into here while they are braking. That's what I said in the last lap already. They will brake into this corner. You do not have to. And that gives you a great advantage and allows you to overtake either in the following corners or in that corner itself already. So that certainly allows you to gain an advantage. And I will just carry the victory home. Last lap obviously all about avoiding errors right now. So we drive it fairly conservatively without taking too many risks. Well, obviously, when you are accustomed to driving a certain way, then you shouldn't force yourself to drive a lower risk style, because that might throw you off your game and then make more mistakes than by just driving your regular style. So that's kind of a funny thing you might have noticed in the past, or at least I did. Although I got a lot better at just driving it a little bit more safely. Because driving it more safely does not mean letting up focus. It's an important one. And there we are with a win in race number 3, so that's 60 points. It's really all you can ask for, right? There you go, 60 points. And a car reward that I already have, but whatever. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you can do this as well, and we will see each other next time with the next championship. Farewell.